Welcome to the Line Life podcast. I'm Jeff Postlethwaite, Senior Editor of T&D World, and today we're bringing you more stories of the grit, courage, and inspirational teamwork that it takes to be a line worker.
Hello and welcome to the Line Life podcast. My name is Amy Fishbach, and I'm the field editor for T&D World magazine. For part one of our Faces of the Future podcast series, we are featuring guest Zackery Gough, a fourth-step apprentice for PEC in Johnson City, Texas. Zackery was a two-time champion in the International Lineman's Rodeo Apprentice Division in 2022 and 2023. Zackery, thank you for joining us today for the Line Life podcast.
I'm excited to be here.
First of all, Zackery, can you talk about how you got interested in a career in the line trade? And do you have any other line workers in your family? And if so, who?
My dad told me about line work. He was driving home from work. He saw some guys working on the side of the road doing some helicopter work in California. It got me thinking about it. And my uncle is an engineer for SoCal Edison. So I kind of got interested in the utility from him. I also love the outdoors and enjoy being outside. So I thought I'd give it a try, and I thought it would be a good career to get into.
Wonderful. And what year are you in your apprenticeship and what are you learning right now? And if you could also talk about the training center at your facility and kind of what it looks like. Do you have access to a climbing yard or classrooms or virtual technology?
Yeah, I'm a fourth step apprentice. So this is my last year in my apprenticeship. I'm kind of learning smart grid, more of reclosures, and learning a lot more hot work, getting my skills better in hot work. Our training center is in Marble Falls. We have a climbing yard there. We have an indoor yard with a lot of reclosures and regulators and cap banks. It's a good place for us to learn, try new things that we normally don't do in the field. The transbanker lab's also there. We learn new voltages and how to build the banks properly.
Wonderful. And I saw that you also went to Northwest Lineman College before you came to PEC. Can you talk a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, I graduated NLC in December, and I started at PEC in January. NLC was a great place for me to start, learn climbing, did some classroom work, and the transformer lab for 15 weeks. Being at PEC, the training builds off that. It's more in depth, and it relates to what we do every day. It's been a good opportunity to build my skills and learn a lot more.
And what are some advantages of having your training center at home as opposed to having to travel a long distance?
It's nice having the training center really close. If you're ever stuck on something or you need to learn something new, you can always run up there and talk to the instructors and bring your supervisor, and they can walk you through everything.
Zachary, can you talk about what a day is like for you now during your apprenticeship? What crews are you working on and what kind of work are you focusing on?
I'm on a construction crew right now, so we do a little bit of everything. Most of our work consists of setting new poles, doing new underground jobs, and we've had a few different projects. We've done some reconducts and some pole change outs, and right now we're working on a maintenance job for voltage conversion. But PEC services some of the fastest growing counties in the nation, so there's something to learn at every work site.
And what do you think are some of the challenges of working as an apprentice in today's utility industry?
I think one of the biggest challenges, especially in Texas, is working in the summer heat. When you're working storms or callouts, there can be some long hours, cold weather, rain and ice, and also the heat again. I think if you want to excel, you really must be dedicated to the craft and be ready to put in the extra time. How much you succeed really depends on how much effort you put in.
It's a really good point. And let's go to the weather because I live in Kansas City where we definitely have the extremes, but I know the summer heat can be even more of a challenge in Texas. Can you give a few examples of how you might stay safe and cool in conditions like that? And how hot has it gotten when you've been working? What's the extreme heats that you faced?
I think this past year we've had 115, 116 with humidity. And I think just taking a lot of breaks, knowing what your limit is, coming down, getting a lot of water. I mean, safety is the most important part. So as long as we keep our best work practices and take breaks, that's the best we can do.
How do you think the training for apprentices is different than in years past? And how is it helping you prepare you for the future?
I like how we get to travel to different areas of the co-op. It helps you really pick up different things that other line workers you work with have learned that maybe you haven't learned. I feel like we learn things at the training center that we may not learn in the field. It provides us a lot of exposure to things that we normally don't do, like transmission and substation. It helps us be more rounded and versatile in our skills, which I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, that's great that you're able to learn about different areas because when you work on a storm, you may be working on a different area of the system, right? And probably kind of helps to be a little bit more well rounded.
Yes.
I'd like to talk a little bit about storms. I know for every line worker, there's always kind of one of those most memorable storm. Can you talk about the working conditions, damage done by the storm, and the type of work you did, and also how you felt about being part of that storm response team?
I was here for the past two ice storms in Texas, the winter storm Uri in 21 and Mara in 23. We worked long hours for 3 weeks during the most recent storm. Me and the journey worker I was with, we were on the night crew. We picked up a lot of line, spliced lines everywhere, fixed broken poles, cross arms, and everything that was damaged from the weight of the ice. The colder temperatures at night and working in the dark was very challenging. I remember about a week and a half into it, we were pretty tired, but we knew that our members were counting on us, and it's something I'll never forget. Being out there in the middle of the night and then closing in a switch, bringing a whole subdivision on, and seeing how thankful that everybody was the best part of the job. And I think that's the reason why I got in line work.
Yeah. And did you ever have any of the community members come up to you and thank you or bring you coffee or thank you cards or anything like that? Or how did they thank you?
Yes, I remember we hooked up a service pretty late at night, and an older lady came out and gave me and the guy some brownies and some coffee.
That is so awesome. I'd like to get back to the weather. So, when you have those colder temperatures and you're dealing with ice, how do you stay safe in a storm restoration condition like that?
I think just having a good tailboard, knowing what's going on, keeping your eyes peeled, following all the safety practices, and just trusting the guy that you're with, keeping you safe and keeping him safe.
How do you feel about being part of the line trade? And what is your favorite part of working as a line worker?
My favorite part about being a line worker is definitely running outages and being on call. If you have a good group of guys and a good team, everything clicks and it runs very smoothly. We're all here to help each other, and that's my favorite part about the job. It's a brotherhood and it's a big community being a line worker.
And then, Zachary, how often are you on call and how do you kind of balance your personal and work life when you have that going on?
It all changes. Sometimes we're on call, and even if you're not on call, we'll still get called out if there's a good storm that comes in. The way I do it is if I'm at home, I do whatever I need to do. And then the phone rings, I'll go out, but I make sure to cherish the time that I'm at home. And I do enjoy the time that I get called out, excited to learn new things.
Absolutely. And what kind of storms do you get there in Texas that you're called out on?
Usually in the summer, be lightning and rainstorms, a lot of line fuses and OCRs will open up during the lightning. And then during the winter, a lot of ice, sleet, rain, and then cold temperatures.
What do you think it takes to succeed in a line apprenticeship in today's industry? And what are some of your qualities that makes you a good fit for the line trade?
It takes a lot of dedication and passion to be a line worker. There's a lot of hard work and knowledge you need to put in order to be safe. It can be mentally exhausting sometimes. It's not all just grunt work. PEC is committed to culture safety, so it's important to be steady, fast, and pay attention to the details. You want to carry that commitment in everything you do, not just at work.
Yeah, that's good advice. And it sounds like you are extremely busy as an apprentice line worker with being called out. But when you do have a little bit of free time, what do you enjoy?
I enjoy hunting, traveling around, exploring new and different places.
And what are some of your favorite places that you've been for work or for personal time?
Alaska, fishing in Alaska, that was a good place. And then just seeing the Texas Hill Country, it's pretty neat. It's a different part of Texas, and it's probably one of the most beautiful parts of Texas.
Well, that's fabulous. I've never been there. I'll have to try that. And fishing in Alaska sounds absolutely amazing. What did you catch there?
We caught salmon, halibut, lingcod, and some rock bass.
Oh, that sounds fabulous. I have a son and I take him out fishing every chance I get. So maybe I'll put that on the list. That's awesome. And then what is your advice to others looking to work as an apprentice line worker? And what are some lessons you learned during your apprenticeship about what to do and what not to do?
I would absolutely encourage anyone that's interested in the career to pursue it. When it comes to being excellent in the field, my advice would be to always think ahead, thinking about the job at hand and thinking about the next step. Be a step ahead of the guy that you're working with. Always have material ready and make his life easier as much as you can. It shows when you take a step ahead that you're determined and that you're, paying attention, and that's exactly how you're going to learn. And being a part of the team, being with the crew, I think is the best thing you can do.
And then let's talk a little bit more about safety, because of course, in the line trade, that's extremely important. How are you staying safe while working as an apprentice line worker? And how important do you think safety is in the line trade?
Safety is the most important thing. I like coming to work, but I also like to go home. For every job, we have good job briefings. We discuss safety, the job at hand, and assign roles to the crew members. We talk about the job very thoroughly and get a game plan of what's going on and what we need to do. And if things change, then we reassess the situation. You got to know your safety protocols in and out and your equipment, how to use it right. And that's the crucial part of the job. It's part of the PEC culture.
That's great. And then what do you see in the future of line work?
I foresee a lot more stuff coming out safety wise, possibly even changing the ways in which people work and their practices. I can see the industry growing, a lot more people getting involved, especially given how electric driven everything is nowadays. I think being a lineman in the electric utility is going to be a lot more demanding.
And Zachary, what about you personally? What do you see ahead for your career? And also wanted to talk to you about the International Lineman's Rodeo. So are you going to be competing at the journeyman level this fall for the 40th anniversary?
No, I still have one more year as an apprentice. If everything goes smoothly, I will journey out in December. So I'm still eligible. At PEC, we have an internal rodeo and Texas and Kansas. So I have to make it to that point again. It's not handed out. You have to earn it. So I'll be working hard to try to make it again next year.
Perfect. And what do you see ahead for you career-wise?
I'm excited to learn. I just want to see as much as I can. PEC is a great place to work and I really enjoy it. I enjoy the crew that I'm on, the guys I work with. So just learning more and getting better at what I do every day.
Well, Zachary, thank you so much for joining us for the Line Life podcast. Thanks for all you do for the line trade, and we wish you the best of luck as you compete in future International Lineman's Rodeo competitions.
Thank you. I had a great time doing this interview.
Thanks, Zachary.
This episode of the Line Life podcast was written, recorded, and edited by Amy Fishbach. It was produced by Jeff Postlewaite. That's me. To listen to past episodes, visit www.tdworld.com/podcasts or find us at Podbean. You could also drop us a voice memo or message at linelifepodcast@gmail.com with your comments on this episode. We'd love to hear from you. Please follow this show on Podbean or your favorite podcasting app to be updated when new episodes are released. Thank you for listening.